Yes, my G's. Hope you guys are all doing great. I just wanted to break down this awesome free plugin actually today. Nice and simple video, nice and quick. Not a sponsored video at all. I was just browsing for some free plugins recently, and I recently did a video using a new tape plugin I found, and yeah, it's by this company called 23. Oh, are they called 23? Yeah, 23 DSP. I really like this tape plugin, the 23 tape here. I know there's other great tape plugins out there already, but you know what I look for in a plugin is not like, oh, it looks cool, or oh, it has this cool effect, but it's often just like the way it affects the sound quality of the low end, because you'll find that like 90%, or probably actually higher, probably like 97% of plugins out there on the market, if you put the wrong kind of thing on an important sound like your bass or your drums, it can actually often weaken the low end quite dramatically. So yeah, what I'm basically trying to say is that this company seems to have really good sound quality, and these are free plugins, by the way. And so this one is great as well. This is the 23 hot cold, and it's basically a saturator. And the problem with normal saturators that don't have multiband, like this one also doesn't, like it kind of has this image as if there's like multiband options, but there's not. Okay, it's just, and I checked the controls as well, it's just got the cold and the hot and the mix, right? And basically what the cold and the hot and the mix are, the hot and the cold, when you turn up the hot or the cold, you're basically just saturating it in kind of two different ways. It's almost like adding two different types of harmonics. But you know, the reason I like multiband saturation is you can put it on like your bass channel or your drum channel and just saturate the highs, or you know, the mids and the highs, but leave the bass nice and pure, because often too much distortion or saturation kind of messes with your low end. However, this one, it actually sounds good on the low end as well, even without any multiband. So let me kind of play you something here. I actually had a bit of I had a plugin on here before, my clipper. I need that, right? So here is this. I'm going to show you on some drums and some bass. So here it is on some drums. I'm going to turn it on. So I've already whacked it up, like, you know, full whack. I even turned up the input a bit. But basically, we're running everything into a clipper, and we're just pushing the drums as hard as they'll go using the saturation plugin here. And then I'm also going to do it without that and just using volume gain, and see what the sort of difference is. So here, you know, maxed it up, 100 on the hot, 100 on the cold. The mix is all the way at 100. I've boosted this input up here, right? And it's brought the sound up a lot. And the kick kind of still sounds clean and nice, you know? When you mess with the hot and cold, you can get a bit more fine tuning going on in your sort of, you know, how you're coloring, how you're saturating, you know, via the two different colors that are available. They're very, very subtle. It's not like a creative distortion plugin. The idea is saturation to squeeze out the sort of most from a sound and the most volume that you can, you know? So basically, sounds pretty damn good. And if I do a separate kind of thing now where I just use a clipper and just turn up the volume, so this is just a volume boost, right? I mean, obviously, yeah, go too far, kick starts to distort. We don't want that, so bring that back. Yeah, around here with this sort of 8 or 9 dB boost, like there it's sounding good, just with volume, no saturation. Now if we compare them though, back to just volume. I kind of really I prefer the version with the saturation. I think it's done like a really good job on like the low mids of the sort of drum break, but and it's kept the whole low end, like the real low part of the kick, like still clear. Like it hasn't disrupted the kick so much, you know. So I really, really like that. Back against the, you know, it's added a lot of brightness and exaggeration and color as well, but it's done it in a really good way, because we're putting it on everything. Like I said, we're putting it on the whole drums with all of the low end, like all the sub frequencies that might be in there in the kick drum. It's worked well to not mess those up. So that I'm really, really impressed with that. Actually, it's a free saturation plugin. Just slapping it directly on something with a bassy, you know, character like a drum break with a kick drum. But I'll show you on the bass now as well, because it actually sort of works pretty damn good on the bass as well. Here's a bass on its own, and with the plugin on, okay, I'll mute that and I'll do the same again with my volume here, just a volume plugin, or you know, it's a clipper, but I'm just using the input to just drive the whole volume up, you know. So it's sort of around the same volume, you know, perceived. Back to the saturation. It's very, very similar. It might be slightly better though. It's given a slight bit more push to the low mids again, which is in a nice area. And again, it hasn't disrupted the low end, which is great. So you can use it. You can go. I would recommend it. It's got my stamp of approval. As a simple saturation tool you can use to squeeze some more character and volume out of your sounds. Yeah, basically, you know, there will be some sounds that are already so saturated that they don't really benefit from this. For example, this bass was already very saturated, and it did benefit from it, but only in a little way. With the break you heard earlier, the break actually benefited a lot more from the saturation, because the break was not so saturated already. So, you know, if a sound has already been super duper saturated, you know, then obviously there's a limit to how much you can saturate stuff. So then putting this on something that's already super saturated, you know, it's not necessarily going to make it any better then. You know, it's just you've kind of already maxed it out, you know. But what happens is, if you've got those certain sounds in your track that could benefit from saturation and you want a good free one, this is a great free one you can use, because it seems to do a great job at retaining clarity in the low end, which is a problem that most plugins fail at, you know. So it's got my stamp of approval. You know, I tested it a little while, maybe a week or two ago, and I was like, that sounds all right. But I didn't make a video about it yet, because I wanted to sort of have another little look at it at another point and see and sort of put it on some things like drums and bass and see what it does to the low end. And it seems, from these two samples, it seems to have had a positive result both times. So for now, it's got my stamp of approval. So go and grab yourself this one if you need a free saturation tool just to squeeze some extra volume out of some of your sounds. I'm sure you guys are going to really like it. So yeah, that's just a little bit of advice and a little review for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, short video today, but thank you very much for watching. Take a little look down in the description as well. If you guys ever want to support me, you can come over to my Patreon. We've got a great community over there. Discord, lots of members, feedback live streams, group masterclasses, all kinds of good stuff consistently happening throughout the year. So come along and join. You can join as a free member at first and see how you feel and dip your toes in. And then if you like what you're getting, then you can subscribe and get, you know, more benefits from the Patreon. Also, if you guys want any presets, I got a new Vital preset pack that just came out, and a whole host of collection of excellent sounds on my website, still very usable today. Even some of the older packs, I still draw sounds from there often when I'm producing as well. Yeah, also finally, if you guys want mixing and mastering work or any production one-on-one coaching, you can send me an email or you can book directly in for a one-on-one lesson via my calendar. Thank you very much for watching, my G's. Make sure you like and subscribe, leave a comment down below. More from me very, very, very soon. Much love.